On Saturday, March 21st, we got a chance to see a super middleweight battle that many people had no idea what the outcome would be. And this battle was for the 168-pound super middleweight title. An eliminator bout that saw the participants put their wares on the line, and it ended up being a better match than most had anticipated. Now, let's talk about this matchup and the outcome and what could be on the horizon. Because you see, when you have fights like this, a titleist needs to be named. And we need to find out exactly what's on the path and course for said titleist. Let's talk about it. The WBC Super Middleweight Title Eliminator that took place on March 21st was an opportunity for one man in particular to come back, because he had faced in his last and previous bout an opportunity to fight for the same title. We're talking about Lester Martinez when he faced Christian Mbili. The Mbili fight ended up being a draw, and when it was declared that they would fight a rematch, Christian Mbili decided not to face Lester again and offered an opportunity with Canelo Alvarez later this year. He's looking for that. So Martinez was left with the opportunity to fight for the WBC Eliminator and be in line for a title shot, which is a great path for himself. But when you talk about Aleem being brought into this fight with him, the 32-year-old Aleem was thought to be pretty much just an opponent for the likes of Lester Martinez. The record of fighters that Aleem has faced, there's no one either on Martinez's level, Mbili's level, nor the fighters that they have faced. So very little consideration was given toward Martinez's opponent in Aleem. And so when the fight opened up, just as expected, Lester attacked and came after Aleem. Martinez, who's 30 years of age, found himself pursuing Aleem. And all of a sudden, within a round or so, Aleem began to stand his ground. And so the ease of which originally thought that this fight might go for Martinez turned into something called a boxing match. This fight was very competitive, but not for the strengths of the men, but for more of what their talents brought. You see, both men are orthodox fighters. Only an inch in height separates them, and an inch and a half reach separates them, with the shorter reach belonging to Aleem, but the inch in height belonging to him as well. Martinez found that he could hit with strength, but not so much power. Very good punch placement. Saw him in there, and at times rocking Aleem backward behind his shots. But every once in a while, Aleem was able to put forward combinations, well-placed jabs, and pinpoint shots with precision, but not necessarily a great deal of power. And the 28 fights that he's had in his career, the experience began to show. Now, Aleem has come in, like I said, as the opponent, but Martinez entered as a favor. Now, Martinez, who's very strong, can box a bit, but has very good accuracy with his own shots, found something different about his competitive match with Aleem as opposed to Mbili. And that was when he fought Mbili, they would go to war in exchanging, trying to impose one another's will. That's not the approach that Aleem had brought into this fight. What he decided to do was to be a cutie in there. He would slip shots and counter and roll with shots. And so now it became a situation where Martinez had to really apply the sciences of boxing. And instead of really tactically breaking Aleem down, he was trying to fight with Aleem on that same type of level. This worked out in Aleem's favor because he kept himself safe and kept Martinez from stopping him. But it was still a very competitive match. You could see these men trading thoughts with one another in exchanges. There was one point in one of the rounds, the middle rounds, where Aleem hit Martinez with a solid uppercut. It came from nowhere as he was moving his hands around, and then whack came this uppercut. I believe that really got Martinez's attention because from that moment on, he was a little bit more cautious when they were in close, but he was still trying to use physical strength. And Aleem was using a sort of a Tai Chi, give, bend, but don't break, yield, but counter off of yielding. And those things were very effective. All in all, it was a highly competitive fight that saw these two men doing something that a lot that were in attendance back there in San Bernardo on Pro Box, they didn't expect. A huge crowd of Guatemalans that were there in support of Martinez were very vociferous, but this was an opportunity for him to really take that next step. But it wasn't easy. Overall, it was a very good, highly competitive match. And Lester Martinez now will be in line for a title shot as soon as the WBC decides who's going to fight for that title. And it's going to be interesting because he brings some boxing skill and ability, heart and determination, strength, and he's also a Latin fighter, and that strength can be built and promoted upon. Overall, Aleem asserted himself well and could get another call up very soon for another fight. Overall, I enjoyed it, but what do you think? This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know what your thoughts are about these gentlemen, their fight. What do you think could be next in the cards for Lester Martinez? Does he have what it takes to become a world titleist? Leave comments and let's discuss further. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.